Hello, everyone, and welcome to the series analysis episode of the Seattle Baseline Podcast. My name is Julian Smith, and I'm with Alex Hong. First off, we've got to start with a little bit of an apology, or not just a little bit. We've got to start with an apology. Sorry, the Kansas City series recording something glitched. It didn't work out. We weren't able to post it, but we're back. We're back for the Houston series. We're back when it matters. The Mariners win the series against the Kansas City Royals. Their 10-game winning streak comes to a close in the second game, but their resilience shows in the third game where Luis Castillo goes 3 hits, no runs in 6 innings, and then bullpen locks it down. No runs scored. The Mariners scored 2, and that's all they needed. The offense doesn't need to do too much because the pitching staff absolutely destroyed the Kansas City offense today. Alex, I want to know your opinions on how the Mariners are playing right now.
I mean, they're playing. They've still been playing well. I mean, even okay. If we quickly talk about how this series went down. I know because the last series analysis episode did not post. We talked about basically me and Julian talked about how amazing the Mariners were against the Angels. Like that was a dominating series, and their dominance especially continued. I think still in this series, against the first game against the Royals, that was unbelievable. I mean, that was just a crazy game. Dom Canzone went 5 for 5 with 3 home runs. Cal Raleigh had 2 home runs. It was like, wow, I cannot believe this is happening, right? And then the second game, the team I think played well. I think we played well enough to win, but Matt Brash, he kind of stumbled there, and then we had that really bad inning. But it's okay, it happens, right? And then in the third game, something I talked to Julian about before we recorded the episode is that the Mariners, their team is significantly better roster-wise against the Royals. Like it's undoubtable. Like you can't really question it, right? We always have the advantage. So even when the Mariners don't play as well, if we still play on the same level as the Royals, our players are better. So we will win those games if that makes sense, right? So even if the Royals don't play that well and the Mariners don't play that well, our players are better. So we should be still winning those games. So that's what I like to see. Even though we don't have to win every game. No MLB team will ever do that, right? But we played really well, I think, and we came back even to win the third game. And all that matters, it doesn't matter if you win the game like 100-0. All that matters is that you get the win and you do whatever you can during that game as possible to get the win. So yeah, I think the Mariners are doing just well, and yeah, it was a great series.
Yeah, and these stumbles are going to happen. It wasn't just Matt Brash. The In the first inning, they score 3 runs. JP Crawford makes a little bit of an error on a play that I don't know if he could have made, and I wouldn't actually. I'm not going to call it an error. Sorry. The play was a dribbler right next to the pitcher on the left hand side. JP Crawford charges it, and he holds back, looking at second base and then looking back at first. He doesn't have that play. If JP Crawford makes that play, though, the inning's over. Salvador Perez doesn't come up and hit the 3-run shot. Like the pitching staff and the defense in general had a little bit of a stumble day, and that's going to happen. All that matters is that we won the series, and our offense, even though we didn't win, and honestly, we didn't play that good offensively, but you have JP Crawford scoring that home run. You've got the resilience of these players. Eugenio Suarez having one of the best nights he's had as a Mariner this year. And I think going into this Houston series that we're going to talk about soon, the Mariners are in a good spot. We are tied with Houston, and I think the trajectory is looking up, especially with Castillo, the way he pitched today. I know Castillo's had his ups and downs, but still seeing Castillo pitch like this is fantastic. You've got Brian Wu, Mr. Consistency. He's had a 3.02 ERA for the whole season, and then he's had a 3.02 ERA the last 7 games, and then he's had a 3.02 ERA the last 30 games. So Mr. Consistency right there. This is like the model. But our pitching staff is starting to turn it around. You have a hiccup from Matt Brash, but he's been playing pretty good for the last few games. Andres Munoz locks it down in the last game. I'm feeling pretty good about this Mariners team.
Yeah, and another thing I'll say is that the Mariners, we have so many players that I have confidence in. And not only that, it's just that we have a lot of different players that can single-handedly win you the games. Like, for example, in the first game, Dom Canzone essentially single-handedly, like, if everyone else didn't even do very good, Dom Canzone's performance was good enough to win us that game. And same with in the second game, or no, in the second game, I know we didn't win the game, but Eugenio Suarez, he played well enough to like lift the team up drastically, right? And then we have Julio Rodriguez, who's on a roll, Randy, Jorge Polanco, right? We have all these players that we have a lot of confidence in. And that's crazy to me because in years past, the Mariners were not like that. Years past, the Mariners, we had like a few players and then we hoped, they would hope the bench warmers or whatever would play well and hoped our like star players would do very good, right? So it's a nice change. And Cal Raleigh, props to him for setting a lot of records this season, but he's now tied with Griffey Jr. and he eclipsed Mickey Mantle. So yeah, those are some pretty good awards too for a remarkable season by Cal Raleigh. I don't even know what else we can say about Cal Raleigh anymore because it's like all the same. Everything he's doing has been completely unbelievable.
Well, if he goes in the last 9 games of the season, I think it's 9 games left, right?
Yeah,
We got Houston, Colorado, and then Los Angeles. That's 9 games. If Cal Raleigh gets a home run in 6 of those 9 games, he ties Aaron Judge's record for most home runs in a single season by anybody. If he gets 7, it might happen. It's less
and
than one per
and
game.
Raleigh's prone to hit multiple home runs in the game too, so we can't count that out.
Yeah. So I'm super excited. Cal Raleigh's been playing, I wouldn't say really well at the second half, but he's definitely been holding his ground up. The on base percentage has been pretty solid. He's starting to hit line drives again. I'm really enjoying that, and home runs are coming. So I'm super excited. The
I mean,
Mariners
even
are
though
now,
Cal Raleigh, sorry,
yeah.
one thing to interrupt, even though Cal Raleigh might have been slumping a little bit, his on base percentage is still insanely high.
Mhm.
So even then, if he's can't hit, he's at least there's some times where I remember his batting average in the last 7 games or 15 games was like 200, but then his on base percentage is like 380. So he's drawing so many walks that he's getting on base and providing that value anyways. And now he's back to being really good Cal Raleigh, like unbelievable Cal Raleigh, I'd have to argue. So yeah, this is really good for
I
him.
mean, like, if you were a pitcher and you're facing Cal Raleigh, do you want to throw strikes against Cal Raleigh? Like, and not even middle of the plate
Like,
strikes. Like we're
yeah,
talking
you
like,
don't want to.
yeah, no, we're talking about like corner of the strike zone strikes. You don't want to throw those against Cal Raleigh. He's just gonna knock it right over the fence. So I think he's got that little intimidation factor now. And I'm really excited. I love the way that Cal Raleigh plays, the way that he draws the walks compared to last season when he used to swing a lot at the changeup. He's he's been a lot better this year, and it's showed in the stats. It's showed in his demeanor. Everything. Cal Raleigh is a fantastic player, but we're gonna pivot to the Mariners and how they're playing right now. The Mariners are back to being tied with the Astros after the Astros sweep the Rangers. Um, we're about to go into a series against the Astros. This series might make or break the Mariners and the Astros chance for that matter on getting the AL West crown. And what it essentially means, if you get the crown, it means you get to play a home game. That's one, and then you have a chance at getting a bye in the first round. Basically, you've won a series, you've won a playoff series before the playoffs even start. Your guys get refreshed for that entire week, and so I think having this American League West crown is really important for the Mariners. And this series right here, winning this series, honestly, it basically means that the Mariners have won the American League West crown. I know that there are a lot more, like there are 6 more games after this, but this series, it's going to make or break the season for the Mariners.
Yeah, and there's a lot of interesting things to look for in this series or in this playoff standing. So the Rangers got swept by the Astros. They are quite a ways back now in the playoffs. They're, I think, 5 games behind the Mariners and Houston. And the Mariners, especially from a Mariners perspective, have the tiebreaker over the Rangers. So it's basically 6 games ahead of them. They're basically out. Um, at this point. The Guardians, they just swept the Tigers. So there's a few elements to consider. The Guardians, they've been on a roll, like they've been winning so many games that they're back in the playoff picture when we counted them out like a month ago or so. But it also takes down the Tigers to where the winner of the AL West could possibly eclipse the Tigers, who are definitely winning the AL Central, I'm pretty sure. I don't think the Guardians are going to eclipse the Tigers still. They're still like 4 or so games ahead of them. So, yeah, so I honestly, this is just big. Okay, like it's crazy. And the Mariners. The thing about getting the home series is they're so much better at home and on the road. And I know we just won a road series, but the Mariners have had a terrible record on the road, especially lately, and a dominant performance at home. So this is a very, very important series against Houston. And there's a few things to consider here of possibilities. If we sweep Houston, basically we're then 4 games ahead of Houston because we would be 3 games, but we have a tiebreaker, right? So it's basically 4 games ahead, right? So that's very hard for Houston to eclipse us in 6 games remaining. If we win the series, right, then we'll just be 2 games up because that's also including the tiebreaker, right? So basically just 2 games ahead, which is a lot lower and still possible for Houston to eclipse us. And the other way around too. If the Mariners get swept, they're basically out of the AL West. If they lose the series 2-1, we still have a potential. But the problem is Houston is actually against the Athletics and the LA Angels, and those teams are not very good. So it's just if we want to win the AL West, we have to win this series. That's the bottom line.
Yep, especially because we're facing the Dodgers, and I know that the Dodgers haven't been very good this year. Mookie Betts, obviously. I mean, I'm not going to go too far into the Dodgers because
We'll
one,
play
this is
them
a
soon.
Dodgers podcast, and two, I'll talk about it a ton when we get to the Dodgers series. Don't worry, but um, they just haven't been playing very well. Their bullpen has been collapsing. They brought a no hitter into 8 2/3 innings. They lost the game 4-3. Like that's
It's
like
disaster.
I get that the Dodgers are playing bad, but they still, especially going back to last year, they swept the Mariners. The Mariners have not played well against the Dodgers in recent years, and I think it's going to be a tough matchup, especially with the amount of star players they have at the top of their lineup and that at the middle of their lineup. They're a good team. So the Mariners need to win this series because Houston doesn't have that type of challenge. Houston's facing 2 basically nobody teams that are already out of the playoffs. And the Mariners, even though we face the Rockies, will be facing the Dodgers. So winning this Houston series, especially right now when we're tied with Houston, we need this. And I think the Mariners have a pretty good chance. The Houston Astros team, I think Carlos Correa has been playing great, but players like Framber Valdez, the team doesn't seem to like him anymore. The the team chemistry in the Houston Astros team is, I think, significantly worse than the Mariners, who have good vibes only, Eugenio Suarez, that type of stuff. And I think that type of vibes, it comes in greatly when you play teams playoff caliber versus playoff caliber. That type of like good vibes in the clubhouse with Victor Robles and Eugenio Suarez, it's going to pay a lot of dividends. And pitching wise, batting wise, I think we're pretty similar in terms of level. And I think the Mariners have a pretty good chance at winning this series.
Yeah, and Houston has a lot of injuries right now. Jordan Alvarez just got hurt. So he's not going to play, and he's their best player, right? So that's a big advantage for us. Isaac Paredes, he's been out since the Mariners series, actually, which is kind of funny, but to say like coincidence. But yeah, so the Astros, they don't have full strength like the Mariners do. The Mariners don't have that many injuries like this season, if we're really thinking about it, right? So I think we're pretty lucky in that regard. And yeah, I mean, the Mariners, they just have to, they've been on a roll. And I know Houston has been on a roll too. So it's going to be very interesting to see these two teams. But this is basically playoff time. This is playoff atmosphere for sure, right?
Yep.
So the Mariners have to bring it, they have to go all in. And it sucks that Houston got an off day before this series started. But um, yeah, the Mariners, I want to see good managing, good playing. Like shout out to Dan Wilson for that crazy like grass touching
Oh
challenge.
my
That's
gosh.
one of the best things I've ever seen the Mariners like Dan Wilson do. Challenge on that play. Like I cannot believe it. Like credit to whoever saw that. But yeah, stuff like that. So that's type of stuff. And even those little things, right? That thing that happened in that Royals game, although you might think, oh, it's basically just what Dom Canstone, he just ends up getting on base, but then a triple happens and he scores, right? So now it's 2-0. So those little things matter. Every little bit matters in increasing the Mariners' chances of winning. So I want to see the Mariners go all out and increase their chance of winning at every single moment, right? Go completely all out and try to win. That's what I want to see.
Also, Brian Wu versus Hunter Brown. That's going to be super fun. And I have to make a comment on the grass play. That was fantastic. Like who, like I don't know how much work it takes to find that Michael Massey in the grass. Like apparently from the interviews, it seems like they saw him in the grass a little bit before that, and as soon as the ball went to Massey, they decided they were going to challenge it. That's a fantastic challenge. That's like, I mean, it was so fun to watch that type of like winning mentality. It
Mm-hmm.
was great, and it honestly, I think it won us the game. That like that vibe of like we're doing whatever it takes to win this game. That those vibes. The pitchers pitched well, the batters played decent, everything, and so I think I feel pretty good going into this Houston series. I'm excited to see this. This is playoff time, as you just said. This is crunch time. We need to win these games. If we can beat Houston, puts us in a great spot. So, Alex, do you have any more thoughts?
I cannot. I'm very nervous, but very excited to see where this goes. And even if the Mariners don't win this series, we've set ourselves up in a situation where I think we still can make the playoffs, right? Without because we still have the Colorado series, but we don't just want the playoffs, right? The Mariners, they've been a bad organization for the last like 20 something years, right? We haven't won the division since 2001. This is this is probably the best chance we've had in those last 20 years, to be honest, to actually win the division. So yeah, this is something I'm really excited and hoping for going in. But yeah, the Mariners, they got to play like they mean it. And everyone on the Mariners is not a surprise. Everyone in the MLB or any baseball fan knows the Mariners terrible history of losing, right? So we got to change that on the field. And the Mariners players, they have a chance to be the ones that change that on the field.
Yep, I couldn't have said it any better. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Check us out on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and our beautiful faces on YouTube. Check out our Instagram. And as always, go Mariners.
Go Mariners.